Welcome to the second episode of On The Go Movie Reviews. Today we are talking about Men in Black International. So we've literally just been to see it. I'm currently sat in the car whilst Josh gets some petrol, because he's a great husband. And we'll be discussing Men in Black, generally talking about it, saying about what we liked, maybe what we didn't like. I don't know, I quite enjoyed it, so we'll see what Josh thinks. Again, this will be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen it or you don't want to know spoilers, just generally don't listen until you have seen it. And once again, here's the trailer.
We are a rumor, recognizable only as déjà vu and dismissed just as quickly. We are the best kept secret in the universe.
I know. I want in. You erased my parents' memories, but you didn't get mine. It took me 20 years to find you. How many people can say that? I found you, which makes me perfect for this job.
Agent M, we may have a problem in London.
The dance that you're doing is dumb. How to do it where you're from. You know it don't start till.
Welcome, man.
That's how to do it where it's from.
You will be with Agent H.
MIB, you Carillion scum. And FYI, your little club here sucks.
Come on, the world's not going to save itself.
I'm driving. That really should be here.
Oh, not this country.
I'm so faded, no exaggeration.
Shall we?
I thought that we were here.
We are.
Step on it, would you, Freddy? You got it, H.
The way I make you drop down like an animation.
What happened here?
What do you think happened? We got our asses kicked.
Sorry.
Wait, are you a queen?
Indeed, she is.
I pledge loyalty eternal to you.
No, I'm not interested.
Too late. I already pledged the loyalty. I wish you'd said no before.
We've never faced a threat like the Hive. They can take the form of anyone,
I haven't seen that before.
even our own agents.
Do we have a plan?
You know, sometimes you have to trust your gut.
Men in Black has been compromised. Trust no one.
The dance that you're doing is dumb.
We protect the Earth.
How to do it where you're from.
And that means everyone and everything on it.
Yeah, baby!
We are the Men in Black. The men and women in black.
Yeah, ha. Perfectly done.
Are you suggesting that we try the most powerful weapon in the galaxy for fun?
Do it.
Press the button. Turn it up a few.
So what did you think of Men in Black International?
I enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed it. I don't remember much about Men in Black, the original ones. Like vague memories of childhood, from childhood, but not really much. So yeah, I thought it was really good fun. It had like a big mystery, which wasn't a mystery because it was really obvious. But I suppose some audiences would be like, "Whoa!"
Americans.
So what did you think, Josh?
I thought that it was fun, and I thought that it was entertaining. I would be very hesitant to say that it was anything special. I thought that it was good in a very standard kind of way.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like it's humorous but not overly funny. The fight scenes are good but not overly thrilling.
I don't know. There was one fight scene which I actually really enjoyed. It was the one where they're fighting the three-armed woman and the big,
Rebecca Ferguson.
Yep, and the big blue guy who should totally have been like the design for Beast, because what a great design. Yeah,
Oh my
and
God, that'd be
basically,
great.
yeah, I know. And they're like, so basically they go between the fights, and as one person gets hit and they fall back, it then cuts to the other person who is on the floor, picks up something, and then it cuts back to the other person who then hits the bad guy around the head. And yeah, it kind of cut between, like, it was almost like one fight scene that was cut between like they were doing the same thing without realizing it, because it was in different locations and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of I did actually quite enjoy that weird continuity of the two fight scenes as they went on in parallel.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. I couldn't really describe it very well, but yeah, it is in parallel. That's totally. I just thought that was really nice. I thought that was quite original as well. I've not really seen something like that before. But yeah, I did enjoy that. But otherwise, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's kind of average. Like, it's good, but it's like, yeah, it's like there's a few laughs. There's, you've got the comedy relief character. You've got the person who you know is the bad guy from the very beginning, but they're gonna keep it a secret. And it's kind of like, average mystery with some aliens in it. I like the design of the world. I don't know what you thought about that.
Yeah, similar to yeah. I mean, it's an expansion on all of the designs that they had for the original 3 Men in Blacks. But yeah, I found that it's kind of akin in my mind from what I can remember.
Yeah.
It's very akin to the Men in Black trilogy, in the sense that I'm like, I watch it and I'm like, oh yeah, that was good fun. I had a good time. I cannot really remember a single moment from any of the other 3 movies, and I got the impression that probably in like a month's time I'm gonna struggle to remember anything from this one.
I struggled to remember most movies after like 2 weeks, so which is why we review them immediately.
That is true, yeah.
Otherwise I'm like, I don't remember. No, I just mean like I guess it is very similar in terms of like how the scenes play out, in terms of you literally, they walk into a room and there are just all these like different aliens, and you've got this like lively background. Cut that out.
It's a lived-in world.
Yeah, and it feels lived in. It feels, the only bit which I thought was really dumb and really kind of peeved me off a little bit. When I say a little bit, I mean quite a bit. I thought about it for a while.
Reaction.
The train. Why
Which bit was the train?
does the train look like a train and then change and then never changes back? It is in a Men in Black station. Nobody needs to know that it's not a real train. They all know that it's this super high speed underground traveling intercontinental travel system. Why does it need to pretend to be a train for that first scene and then never change back? Just literally to be like a shock kind of thing, like whoa, and then, but that really actually quite annoyed me, because it kind of took me out of that moment, because I was like, oh, that's cool, and then I was like, wait, but they were in a Men in Black station, and then I was like, maybe it'll change back and they'll be somewhere else, and then it never did, and that just played on my mind the whole way through the movie.
That's a very good point. I completely forgotten about that, but yeah, and it never changes back.
Yeah.
And it's got this really complicated, complex, like, changing animation as well. Like, bits and pieces are sliding all over the place.
Yeah.
Some poor animator probably spent an awful lot of time doing stuff. Oh, wait, I will say one more thing that I quite liked. To do with the action scenes. I liked the whole action scene where the guns are all in the car.
Oh, yeah.
In, like, impossible places.
In the exhaust! In the mirror!
Yeah, they're just like whipping them out from all over the place. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Here's a piece of steering wheel. Now you have like loads of ammo or whatever they use. I don't know. That doesn't even make sense. That would normally be ammo, but it's like a laser gun. So
I like the ones which come out the wing mirror, because the idea that like suddenly just dinks your wing mirror, and then all of a sudden there's like an array of weapons just fall out. I like the cast a lot, because like I like Chris Hemsworth and I like Tessa Thompson. I was just gonna say I think that they have really great chemistry together, and I find them both charismatic. I didn't feel that they worked in this movie as a team particularly well. I feel like their back and forth in Thor Ragnarok
was better.
Yeah.
I think maybe, but that's because in Ragnarok, she's kind of more distant to everything. She's like, I don't really care, like, and that gives a better like bounce between. So, because Thor cares a lot, but at the same time he's stuck. And obviously Valkyrie is, like, she can do whatever she wants pretty much, but she just doesn't give a shit.
They're almost like reverse characters, almost.
They
Like,
are, yeah,
because like in this one, he's like more of like a carefree type attitude.
Well, I think in both of them, he's quite arrogant, and he's quite like, you know, I'm the best. I am great. Whereas, I think Tessa Thompson's character changed a lot, and that's what made the difference. So yeah, I think that's what made the difference. Just to point out, I had no idea that Liam Neeson was going to turn up. First 2 seconds, I was like, whoa!
He's on the poster.
I had not looked at the poster. I've not looked at anything for this movie because I didn't really, I was like, meh, I'll go see it at some point. I know who's in it, like the main 2 characters. I didn't know that Liam Neeson was in it until now. That was a surprise. And then all these other like actors and actresses show up, whose names I do not know and cannot remember, and I will ask you, where are they from? So you may as well just go through them.
Well, first of all, spoilers. Liam Neeson plays the main bad guy, which is not a mystery throughout the movie.
It's not. If you don't know this by like the first 15 minutes, then you're an idiot. I'm just going to say that. You should know better. Come on. Say it how it is.
But I quite liked it because never really seen Liam Neeson. Well, I have seen Liam Neeson play villains before, but he just doesn't do it very often. So I quite like it when he does because I think it's well within his range.
I don't know though, because he plays it as a good guy for most of the movie, so it's not really like he's playing a villain until the end.
No, but I think you got to sell it in that dramatic turn. You've got to lay the seeds of suspicion.
I never doubted him. Ever.
But yes, so Chris Hemsworth, I thought did a perfectly good job.
He played your general arrogant, beautiful man who is basically wears half a shirt through most of the movie, as usual for him, because they like to show him off.
I thought that Tessa Thompson also did a good job. I feel like though when they did director like Taika Waititi on a project like Thor Ragnarok, I feel like there was a lot more creative freedom for the actors to kind of like, you know, bounce off each other, explore their characters a bit more. I kind of felt that both of them were being restrained by the material. Like, this is the character that you have to play so that we can get to these points in the plot, and then it makes sense.
I feel that there was a lot of character-driven plot, so that they kind of had to be acting in that way for it to then work. Because otherwise they wouldn't have got to, as you say, those points for then the plot to continue as it was going to. Whereas, yeah, I agree with you. I think they could have probably explored it a bit more if they'd been a bit more free with it, but who knows?
Usually I'm not a huge fan of the comic relief sidekick,
but he was great,
I actually really enjoyed Camille, I'm going to say this wrong, Camille Nanjiani as Pawnee. I genuinely thought he was really funny, and most of the laughs for me came from him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I usually really don't like comedy relief characters because nowadays they just kind of stuck in there. They feel like they're just kind of stuck in there for a few laughs. They're usually not very funny, but in this he was actually really funny and he worked really well and he was important to the story at the end. You know, he saves Agent M's life as his queen, which is, you know, adorable as well as being, you know, quite important. So yeah, I enjoyed him and I thought he was necessary. He didn't feel just like he was just like, oh, we'll just put him in and have a few laughs and do some fart jokes and then we'll leave it at that. So no, I appreciated him as well. I thought he was really good.
I thought it was interesting that fourth billing went to Rebecca Ferguson, who was in the movie for
5 minutes?
Yeah, if that.
Remind me, what has she been in?
Greatest Showman, Mission Impossible 5 and 6. Are we on 6 now?
I don't know.
Fallout was Fallout 6. Yeah, she's in that.
Yeah, I have no idea. She turned up and I was like, oh, it's you! And like they'd had this big hype, like, oh, it's this really attractive, you know, strong, powerful woman, and then she turns up, and I was like, oh, eh.
She was also in The Snowman. Do you remember The Snowman with Michael Fassbender? There's a serial killer who cuts the heads off of women and puts snowman heads on top.
Yeah, I do. But when you say that, all I can think of is the Jeremy Renner one. What was that called?
The one where he's and he's saving the.
And it's got
Elizabeth Olsen?
Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen. I was going to say Scarlet Witch.
Wind River?
Yes? No. Yes, maybe. Something like that.
It's got John Bernthal in it for 5 seconds.
Yeah, it does.
What a great actor. Anyway, yeah. Rebecca Ferguson is in it for 5 minutes and she's fine.
Yeah, she does her usual fine. Oh, I like the fact that they planted like a little seed right at the beginning of the movie. Like 20 years ago, this thing happened, which sets off Agent M on her journey, or Molly, on her journey to become a Men in Black agent. And then there's like this little seed of like, oh, there's this little alien that she finds and she helps it out. And then she comes across it later on as an adult, and they're both then like, huh, hey. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to help you out. And I thought that was a really nice moment. I really like that. It's, I mean, bloody coincidence. Like, wow, that's whew, you know, how the hell?
That's what I was kind of torn between. I was torn between the idea of being like, oh, this is quite a heartwarming, quite adorable little moment, and also,
super
wow,
happy.
this is an amazing coincidence that this has only just come up right now.
Yeah, but hey, you know, you never know. Right place, right time, as they said lots.
I liked Rafe Spall as Agent C.
Yeah, again,
I thought he was good.
I recognised him. No idea what he's actually from.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. He played the main bad guy.
Nope.
He's in the White Christmas episode of Black Mirror.
Nope.
Other things. He's in loads of stuff.
Is he related to Timothy Spall?
I do not know.
Because their faces look similar. Sort of. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm going to look that up. I'm not going to say anything about it on the podcast, so if you want to know, look it up, but yeah. I don't know. Or if you know, leave a comment. Let me know.
I thought that Rafe Spall did a good job as well. He kind of has to do the whole, I might be the bad guy, but you can kind of tell.
Well, probably not.
Yeah, you're laying it on way too thick.
Yeah.
I was really confused at the end when, after Liam Neeson has been dispatched, they give Men in Black International to Chris Hemsworth, and I was like, why? Give it to Rafe Spall. There's a whole scene earlier on in the movie where Rafe Spall is doing like an operation basically by himself, and he's got like 20 odd dudes that he's in control of and like monitoring at once.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy is like great at this job.
I think the point is that Chris Hemsworth starts off being this like great at leading and has like the potential to be one of the best agents, and he is like a really good agent, and then he changes, so like he starts to become a bit more arrogant and a bit more blasé and a bit negligent, but he's still like has that quality, that leadership quality that everyone saw in him, and he develops that again over the course of the film by working this case. I think that's the point, is that he was once in line to become head of the London branch, and by the end of it he's back in that position where he could. And I mean, even what's her name, the head of the New York one, says,
Emma Thompson.
yeah, she's like, oh, you know, you have all of our senior agents helping you out, like, you know, give it a go, give it a red hot try. So yeah, no, I think kind of, I mean, it makes sense within the story, you know, for the purpose of that.
One of the things which I did find is, weirdly enough, this was a similar problem that I had with Missing Link, the Leica animated movie.
Yeah.
Is there's the whole section where Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth are in the desert, and she's like, oh, you're reckless, you're inept.
Is that, and then she goes and uses this giant sun, like, weapon.
No, my problem is the fact that she's saying that, and I'm like, there's been no real evidence to this. Chris Hemsworth has still been a fantastic agent this entire time.
Yeah, but he has been reckless and inept and...
Yeah, but he's still getting the job done, so I'm kind of like... I feel like you're just hassling him for no reason.
I feel like the point is the job could have been done better. Like, because technically, I mean, the alien right at the beginning dies because he has been a bit...
Fungus. Don't remember his name, but...
He's been, like, I said it so many times, he's been kind of inept and a bit rubbish, and it's kind of his fault that happens, because he's not on the ball. Whereas if he had actually listened and was more on the ball, that wouldn't have happened. So I can kind of see it from that point of view. But what I'm saying, she says that, and then whips out, like, the weapon, which has a blue giant star inside it, and just is like, yeah, we'll just try this out. It could destroy this entire planet because it's a fucking blue giant star. Even at the lowest setting, it could destroy the planet. But she's like, nah, it's fine. That's so reckless. You're such a hypocrite.
Yeah, that bit was dumb.
I spy a hippogriff.
I'm gonna go back to this because it still bugs me.
Okay.
Even at the beginning of the film, when they do the little bit before he gets neuralized, how he behaves then is, in my opinion, no different to how he behaves in the rest of the movie. Like, he is getting, like, knocked off of things and only just hanging on, and, you know, I'm like, this is all kind of reckless, and he's not fully paying attention, which is why he gets knocked off the thing, you know. So I'm like, I don't understand, like, if they had shown him being, like, this one-man army at the beginning, and then been like, oh, now he falls asleep at his desk, I would have been like, I can see the change.
I think the point is that he gets knocked off when the hive come through, and that's when Liam Neeson gets taken over, when he is not there.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, like, yeah, but that's not different.
I mean, I would have to watch it again to actually see if his character is any different or not. Because I still think, like, him between the beginning and the end, not really that different, you know?
Yeah, like, I don't necessarily think he's grown. I just feel like the movie was telling us about... Yeah, and I'm kind of like...
saying, oh yeah, you used to be amazing, and now you're, like, this childish... I mean, you're still good, but you're kind of more childish than you were before, and... Yeah, without any proof or evidence. Yeah, no, I get that.
So I had that problem with... there's a scene in Missing Link where the Hugh Jackman character... He gets into an argument with the Sasquatch, and they basically somebody's just like, this entire time you've only been caring about yourself. Why don't you think about somebody else for once? And I'm like, I don't see any evidence of that. They've come all this way with this Sasquatch character, you know. They could have, like, abandoned them, like, so long ago. I'm just, you know, I'm kind of like, there is no evidence there. You're just telling me that there is now this reason for conflict or this reason for change. And it's just a weird thing that kind of bugs me. I want to see evidence on screen.
Stop thinking about it too much. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it at face value. He has changed, yes.
I know that because they said it.
They said so. He used to be different. He has changed. He's grown.
They kept doing as well, like, the little, like, the mini fake out where, like, she tries to use the gun and then it, like, it doesn't work, but then 2 seconds later it does work.
Oh, what, in the desert?
Yeah. Or, like, she then sees the train and she's like, what? And then 2 seconds later it transforms into this high-speed train.
There's actually just something else I want to talk about that you just reminded me of. How do you feel about Beard Alien? Because that freaked me out.
Well, first of all, I like the actor. I'm gonna say it wrong. Kyan Novak, who I like him. I've seen him in a lot of things like Phone Jacker and Four Lions, and he's got a beard which is a living alien, which I found very upsetting when it peels away from his face.
Yeah,
and then they CGI his face to make it look. So like when he's got the beard, that's like the shape of his face. But then they're like, no, that's an alien. So they then like CGI remove the bottom of his face, so it looks weird. So his face finishes too soon.
I don't understand why they didn't just make his beard bigger and then take it. Because literally, I had the same thing. I was like, oh, hey, look, it's a guy with a beard, you know. And then it does that thing, and it comes away, and you're like, where's his chin? What happened to his face? Because it's really creepy, and I don't like it. And it makes me feel weird.
Yeah, it was very unsettling. I did not like it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, maybe he's meant to be an alien too, an alien with no chin.
I liked the living beard hiding in the water bottle, though. I thought that was a good joke.
Yeah, but does he breathe air? Because if so...
How'd his breath?
For very long time. Well, I suppose we don't know. We don't know what this alien is capable of.
I love all the black suits. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, it makes me want a pantsuit.
I
so bad.
thought it was weird that like when Tessa Thompson sneaks into Men in Black, she wears like a skirt.
Yeah.
But that's the only skirt she ever wears.
Yeah, like you see other women wearing like dresses and skirts and stuff, but that is the only time she wears a skirt. She then changes into a pantsuit. Also, did you see the size of the shoe, like the heels she is wearing?
No.
Because she obviously Chris Hemsworth is really freaking tall.
6'2", 6'3"?
He's like the same size as Liam Neeson, so yeah, 6'3", something like that.
Yeah.
And so obviously they didn't want to make her look like she's really tiny, because she's probably like normal height. Again, if you know this, let me know in the comments. And so they gave her these massive shoes, and I was just like, holy crap, you wouldn't be able to do anything in these shoes. Like, it's just, yeah. She's running around doing shit, fighting people, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like, that's insane.
In their defense, it's very hard to frame a shot when you have two people of very different heights.
Yeah, I know. It's why also there's a bit in the sand where Chris Hemsworth is like on the same level as her. He comes around to the other side, so he is then lower than her, so that they're kind of nearly same height.
Got to get those eye levels. Got to get the same those eye levels in the frame.
But yeah, it does. It really makes me want to pantsuit. And all I could think as well was the Sometimes Always Never, which is a movie we saw recently, and they do always do up the middle button. So, okay, I saw that. Noticed that.
Yeah. So all in all, I'd say it's visually very colourful.
Well, other than the black and white suits, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's colourful. It's entertaining. It's a little shallow.
Yeah, it's kind of that kind of thing where if it came on Netflix, I would watch it. So I'd probably put it rewatchability about 3 out of 5. I wouldn't necessarily buy it on Blu-ray, but I would watch it again if it was on Netflix or Prime or others that are available.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that rewatchability. I'd give it a 2. Because if I had the choice between this and R.I.P.D., I would watch R.I.P.D. because it's weirder. Which is a strange thing to say, that this movie's all about aliens, but you know, it's got kooky characters and Jeff Bridges.
But it doesn't have girl power, which is all the rage right now.
Oh, did you like the women in black? Stuff.
Yeah, men and women in black. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I must admit, see that bit I like the bit at the beginning when she's like, oh, but you know.
Men in black. Oh, yes, I know we've had this conversation.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit like, but then like I quite like the idea of Chris Hemsworth being like men in black, and women, and then giving her the thumbs up. You know the. Don't worry, I got this. That complete failure of I saved the situation. You know.
Yeah, I think it's quite funny. I mean, nowadays it's all like, yeah, women's power and stuff. So I feel like this is quite an even movie in that sense. So
yeah, so go see Men in Black.
Yeah,
International.
Go see it, and if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, share, do all the things, hit that button. Whatever button, just as long as it's not the close button.
It's a bell. You hit the bell to stay notified.
You can tell Josh does all the online stuff.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the little bell to stay notified.
See you later.